All right, welcome to Coffee with Markus and Mark. Still live from Cayman Island. Today is Wednesday, October 12th, and we have a lot to talk about because today the important PPI data inflation report has been released, and we'll talk about what this means for the market, how the markets are doing. We'll show you our positions, how we are doing, and as promised, I'll also show you where I am right now for October, how we are doing in our accounts. And if you haven't met yet, I'm Markus Heitkoetter. This is my head coach, Markus, and we're real traders trading live accounts. And we'll show you what trading is all about because it's not all roses and butterflies. Some days are tougher, some days are awesome. And this show will show you exactly what trading is all about. And yeah, I mean, the markets this year have been tough. I mean, no doubt about this. I mean, in the S&P, we are down now 24% for the year. And making new lows. In the Nasdaq, we made a new two-year low, and it doesn't seem to stop.
Yeah, yesterday both the S&P and Nasdaq finishing with a 5-day losing streak. So those lows are definitely there. The Dow was able to squeak by with a small win, but yeah, you don't need to get too excited about that one.
Yeah.
But traders were focused on PPI today.
So let's take a look at this and see what happened here. So we're going to the economic calendar where we see the PPI data, the Producer Price Index. What does it mean, and what do these numbers mean, Mark?
Sure. So the Producer Price Index is used to gauge inflation, and it's based on producer prices. So you have CPI data that's coming out tomorrow. That is representing consumer price increases, and so that's really what the market or what market participants usually focus on a little bit more. But PPI data is still relevant.
Yeah, I mean, usually it's a report that's not being paid close attention to, but right now with inflation, of course,
Sure.
There is. So it came out this morning, and we see that the PPI came in higher than expected, and that's not good news, right? Because that means inflation is still increasing.
Yes. And so this is the September reading. August, it actually ticked down, and then a 0.2% increase was expected for September. Coming in higher was a bit of a shock. Core PPI actually in line with expectations at 0.3%. So it seemed like hotter than expected, and then traders were saying, let's look at what tomorrow brings.
That's it. Because if you look at the overnight chart of the E-mini Nasdaq, and we look at the 5-minute chart, we see that overnight, I mean, traders were hopeful, and we were looking to a positive start in the day. I think we were up at some point at 0.8% from yesterday's close, and then we see right here, this is when the PPI data was released, and yeah, the initial shock, it came in higher than expected. I mean, just trading around the closing prices of yesterday. And if you look at a 5-minute chart of the S&P 500 right now, we see that for today, a little bit diddling around. So still waiting for tomorrow.
Exactly. So there was a negative reaction. We were positive in the overnight session prior to the release, but coming right down to yesterday's close, just kind of says traders are like, well, let's see what CPI does.
Right. Now, there's another important report being released today, the FOMC meeting minutes. Let's talk about these.
Yeah, so this is recapping the last 2-day policy meeting that the Fed has. And it can be a wild card because here traders are looking to see what the Fed was focused on. Maybe there's something that comes up that wasn't addressed in their statement or press conference. You never know.
Yeah, and usually it's really not a non-event because when the Fed 2 weeks ago they had their policy meeting, they announced they will raise interest rates by 0.75 of a point. Then Powell had the press conference statement, and usually that's enough for traders. Right now, what we will see in the meeting minutes, since they are meeting minutes, we'll see exactly what was discussed. We'll see exactly what other Fed members, voting members, thought. And I think this is where we can see a reaction to the markets. But again, the big one will be tomorrow.
Yeah, and with the press conference these days, a lot of what historically might come up in the meeting minutes is being shared in the press conference.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, core CPI data, that year-over-year number, 8.1%. Are we going to come in higher than that and shock the market, or will we come in lower?
Yeah.
Peak inflation? I don't know yet.
And this is where also this week earnings season kicks off. So on
Yeah.
Friday, this is where 4 of the world's largest banks, or well, first of the largest banks, I don't know if they're world, but I mean, we have JP Morgan reporting, Citigroup, we have Wells Fargo reporting, one more that I don't know, but so that's where traders will pay attention to. And then we also had one of the bigger companies, Pepsi,
Yeah.
reporting earnings. So Pepsi reporting earnings yesterday, and right now up almost 5%, 4.8%. I mean, that's good because this earnings season, I mean, many analysts are expecting that it'll be bad. The last quarter was bad, that going into the fourth quarter into 2023, we will see lower guidance from stocks, but not Pepsi.
Yeah, hopefully this is a sign of things to come. Not necessarily, but nice to see an earnings pop here as we head into earnings season. And there's really top and bottom estimates. So what the revenue is, what the net income is, were they profitable, but then also the forward guidance, and that's what traders are really going to be focused on. Here you see the earnings, the EPS. Surprise, and also revenue better. Yeah.
But I mean, the big one is that PepsiCo said, you know what, going forward, going into the fourth quarter next year, we're fine. We don't really expect any major changes because they said we have raised prices and nobody seemed to care. We talked about it this morning with our mastermind members. I mean, Pepsi just makes a lot of money from concession stands, right? I mean, this is where also bars, restaurants, right? This is where a majority of the income is coming from in snacks. And if you go to a restaurant, I mean, how much do you pay for a soda? We polled our mastermind members this morning and nobody really know. And therefore, I'm not surprised that Pepsi said, well, we were able to raise the price for a soda from $2.80 to $3 or something like this because nobody cares. Same with the movie theaters, stadiums, concerts. I mean, wherever you are, you go to the concession stand, you pay your $18 for a popcorn. And you complain that prices are high, but it's not preventing you. This is not where you're cutting costs in your budget that you say, I need to drink less soda.
Exactly. If it goes from $2.50 to $3.50, you're probably still going to buy it at $3.50. But if ribeyes go from $15 a pound to $25 a pound, some people might be eating hamburger. Not me, though.
No. Okay. All right, so let's see what's happening, how we are doing. One of the things that I promised you yesterday that we'll take a look at how October is going for us thus far. And so I'm hopping over to the trading log, and this is where we see so far for the year, I'm up $129,301 in realized profits, most of it coming from options, a little bit from stocks, and then some dividends on stocks that I own like Nvidia, TPR, and one of the stocks earlier this year. Here we see where we stand. So September was really good with $15,306 realized. And October, we are off to a good start. I mean, we are only, a week? So we have last week completed. We are in the second week of October. Right now, close to $4,000 in realized profits here with premiums that we sold.
Not too shabby.
Right. So one of the things that we looked at today was, let's actually go there, Google. Because that is a stock that you own. I got assigned at 108, but you got assigned at 103.50.
Yes.
No, 103.75. Anyhow.
103.50.
Yeah. So you're looking to sell the 104 calls. And this is where right now, if we zoom in a little bit and see Google actually today, let me just zoom in a little bit and get rid of the volume. We see that today Google kind of has a pop, and even though the markets are not doing a whole lot, Google is up 1%.
Yeah, and I think this is positive. Yesterday we had a little bit of a pop. I was looking to sell calls there, watching that. I was hoping for a little more follow through. This morning, based on